Thank you for your interest in the Eagle's Nest application. This overview is to help you understand the do's and do nots of the process. There are a lot of steps into getting Eagle's Nest funding, and I'm going to go through each and every one of them to answer any questions you may have. First would be the difference between Eagle's Nest and the RALP Travel Grant. Eagle's Nest funding is specifically to help assist student organizations with their on-campus programming. Their programming can be defined as events, services, or projects. Both of these applications are available on OrgSync. The basics. All programs or events receiving funding from Eagle's Nest must serve for the betterment of campus life and present an opportunity for involvement. All events receiving funding must be free and open to the entirety of the student body per the student service fee policy. Funding is divided into fall and spring phases, meaning that you should apply during the semester that you are wanting to program. If you are wanting to have an event in the fall, you'll apply during the fall semester. If you want to have an event during the spring, you'll apply during the spring semester. All applications must be submitted at least 4 weeks in advance of your event. $3,000 is the maximum amount you can ask for, but is not the standard award. Step 1 of the funding process would be to attend a resource meeting. The purpose of this step is to answer any questions you may have and to inform you about the steps involved in applying for Eagle's Nest. You've completed this step once you have signed the attendance sheet at the end of the meeting or reviewed this video. Step 2 of the funding process would be to fill out the actual application. After attending a resource meeting, you can fill out the application on our OrgSync, or it can also be found on our Twitter by following us at UNT SGA. It's required that the application is submitted 4 weeks in advance of your proposed event, and no exceptions will be made. Please be sure to use a contact email address that your organization as well as your faculty advisor will respond to. This is the easiest way for your organization's funding to be retracted. Please be sure to keep in constant contact with our organization as well. The application expectations. The application itself is used as a vetting process for me and for my committee, and for me to show them what we should expect out of your event. On the application, we ask that you answer 10 supplemental questions, which can be easily downloaded and re-uploaded on a Word document. We ask that you submit proposed marketing materials, and this is often an early logistical process for our organization, so it is quite okay if you can only submit your rough draft materials. We ask that if you are using a university vendor that you use Eagle images. A detailed budget broken down by line item is also expected. Quotes estimates are not preferred, but are accepted if you cannot find the actual costs. If there are any problems with your application, please send an email to sga@unt.edu. Step 3 of the funding process is an actual invitation to the Eagle's Nest Committee. Once your application has been approved, you will be invited to present at a scheduled committee meeting time and present before the committee. This is invite only, and you should receive an application approval email, which you will have 1 week to respond to. Each approved student org is required to make this presentation before the Eagle's Nest Committee. It will be composed of you presenting for about 5 to 10 minutes, followed by a 5 to 10 minute Q&A period. Step 4 of the funding process would be the actual presentation. Some of the expectations of the presentation would be to tell us about your organization's purpose and goals, so not even about your event at this point. There is a reason that your organization has sent you to make this presentation, and we want to hear about what your organization has done for you. After that, we would like to hear the itinerary or timeline of your planned event, service, or project, and we also want to see that detailed broken down budget, which should be easy because you have already submitted it. At this point, your budget should be final, and you should be going over each line item and updating us if necessary. The presentations are then followed by a closed vote, and I will notify you of the committee's decision via email. Upon denial, if you are denied at any part of the process, whether that be after the application or after the presentation, the appropriate director will email you with the reasons why. You also have an opportunity to set up an appointment with your director to go over any discrepancies in the application. The last step in the funding process is your approval and your funding paperwork. Once your application has been approved, you have been invited to a presentation, and your presentation has also been approved, you will be required to submit on OrgSync a form of your funding paperwork. You should receive your funding award letter from me, which would be very long and detailed, but should have all of the information to request your purchases. The budget has also been asked to be finalized at this point. You have exactly 1 week to submit all the required funding paperwork before your funding is retracted. We ask that you please combine all PDFs into one PDF when uploading to the OrgSync link. Any paperwork that is missing, incomplete, or submitted after the deadline will result in a retraction of all funding, so please do not upload documents that are not related to the link. Also, please expect a quick turnaround and be checking your email constantly to stay in contact with our organization. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to give us a call at 940-565-3850 or email us at sga@unt.edu.